Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins. It is October the 8th, 2019. I can't believe that we are in the fourth quarter of 2019 and we're almost one quarter through the 21st century. We're almost in 2025 into the 21st century. Wow. Wow. Anyways, I still remember the hype around the year 2000. Wow. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining me this morning. I just kind of want to share this with you guys because this is happening everywhere. And this is a huge problem that Canadian household debt is growing. But there's an unusual divergence. Canadian household debt is seeing growth accelerate once again, and it's entirely due to mortgages. We know this. We've been following this. Bank of Canada numbers show that the balance of household credit at institutional lenders reached a new record high. The growth was largely led by mortgage debt, which is beginning to accelerate. On the other hand, consumer debt continues to see growth decelerate. The divergence of growth trends is odd, but usually doesn't last long. The question is, which one is currently heading in the wrong direction? Well, if you've seen consumer debt, consumer credit continue to see growth decelerate. So, if consumer credit is decelerating, it means that if they're using, let's say, credit cards and stuff, they're probably using their home equity to consolidate their credits and then kind of bring it back down to sustainable levels, but then go back and reuse it again to eat again. So people need to eat, so they're gonna find ways to eat, especially with the way we're devaluating our currency left, right, and center by more and more overspending, and it's becoming a huge problem now on Canadians. Canadians owe over 2.2 trillion in debt. That's a lot. Canadians are pushing already the epic pile of debt to all new all-time highs. The balance of credit outstanding reached 2.23 trillion in August, up 0.55% from the month before. This represents an increase of 3.8% when compared to the same month last year. The total is a new all-time high. At the 12-month growth is rising year over year for the first time in months. Here is the Canadian household Canadian household, debt outstanding percentage change. So there it is. Percentage change. So the annual percentage change in debt held by Canadian households in Canadian dollars. So you're seeing the percentage change go down, and here are the recession bars right here, indicating, look at that. Boom, 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 recession. Boom, 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 recession. And it's just going to keep going down. And let's keep reading here. The 12-month growth is starting to rise again. The 3.8%, the 12-month change in August is 2.7% higher than the same month last year. This follows the past 2 months of stalling and minor increase from the year before. Growth isn't huge and is actually just off multi-decade lows. However, it is moving up entirely due to mortgage debt. Okay, so let's go back to this again. So this is household debt outstanding percentage change, right? So it's somewhat sustainable in a way, and it's looking not too bad here. But let's keep reading. Canadians owe 1.59 trillion on their mortgages. So this is 2.2 trillion in household debt, like just debts, credit cards, auto loans and stuff, right? But Canadians owe 1.59 trillion on their mortgages. The balance of mortgage debt represents the vast majority of household debt. The balance hit 1.59 trillion in August, 0.6% from last year. This represents an increase of 4% where compared to the same month last year. This is not only a new all-time high for the balance, it's also a faster rate of growth than the month before. So here it is. Here's your mortgage debt. Kapow. Here's your consumer debt in millions. Kapow. So that should add up to 1.59 trillion here. And yeah, I see it here. Okay. And there's the... So consumer debt is obviously a lot lower than the mortgage debt. I'll tell you why. It's because they're borrowing from their mortgages to pay off these credits and other credit card debt and trying to pay down some student loans and stuff using the liquidity or whatever they have left in their homes to deleverage to pay off these other debts. So it's a Cantillon effect. It just makes no... It just doesn't... It just goes, yeah, robbing Peter to pay Peter now. You're not robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're actually robbing Peter to pay back Peter. Here's a source of Bank of Canada here. Wow. It's still... Even though consumer debt doesn't look as bad as it does here, okay, in other previous recession bar years. See, the recession bars are right here. Even though it doesn't look that bad in comparison, you're still worse off because of this. So, like I said, you're robbing Peter to pay Peter, right? As stated in yesterday's article, this is the first time we've seen a 12-month change above a year before. The 4% of a 12-month increase in August, 8.1% higher than it was during the same month last year. April 2017 is the same time that happened, and it was only for a single month. To see more than a single month where the rate growth beat the previous year, we need to go back to November 2016. Canadians owe $637 billion in consumer credit. So now we're going to go into consumer credit now, okay? So the total here at the beginning, so let's re-break it down so we all understand. There it is there, 2.2 trillion. You take your 1.59 in mortgages, okay? Here's your recession bars with the mortgage borrowing increasing. And then you have your $637 billion in consumer credit. So you see it going down here, right? But to me, I think a lot of people are capped out. They're just total debt service ratios maxed out. I don't think people have money or don't have any room left in their expenditure ratio to actually allow a lender to lend them any more money. I think people are just capped right out, right? So Canadians owe $637 billion in consumer debt and consumer credit. Consumer credit also reached a new all-time high, but growth continues to slow. The balance of outstanding consumer debt reached $637 billion in August, up 0.5% from the month before. This represents a 3.1% increase when compared to the same month last year. Now, this is a part where it gets a little weird. Yeah, here it goes, guys. Here's at the beginning of the article where they said, unusual divergence. So, Canadian household debt change. So there it is. All right. It's somewhat undertamed. So the dark blue is consumer change, which is going down. And there's a recession bar. So when they're stagnating things, you could see how it stagnates like this instead of having a proper correction like they did in 82, 91, and 2009. You see them kind of propping crap up here, right? The 12-month rate growth continues to decelerate. The 3.1% annual rate growth in August is just 13.9% lower than the same month last year. It's also lower than the month before. Usually we see this number rise into the fall, but right now it's not. Even more unusual is the number of typically moves with mortgage credit growth. There's only a few times it heads in the opposite direction, but it usually doesn't last for long. Under normal circumstances, we see consumer credits lead the trend, which could now mean the mortgage growth is just temporary bump. However, nothing about this market has been normal, so don't go betting on a house on it yet. Don't go betting the house on it yet. Sorry, or betting the farm on it. Okay, sorry. Outstanding household credit reached all new time high, with both major segments showing growth. Most of that growth is coming from mortgage credit. Okay, here we go. which is currently accelerating. Consumer credit showed growth as well, but the rate continues to decelerate. Heading in the opposite direction of mortgages, both segments usually rise and fall together, in line with broader macroeconomic trends. Because if the economy is good, it generally is good for more than just housing. Currently, that's not the case. With the rates diverging, the good news is that historically, these growth patterns don't diverge for very long. The bad news is we're not sure if mortgages or consumer credit are leading the trend right now. Okay, here's the key, people. Let me tell you what the key is, okay? Let me explain this to you. People are borrowing from their mortgages. This is what I'm seeing from reading this article. They're not telling you this in the article, but I'm going to tell you what they're doing. Oh, sorry, guys. It's early morning here. I gotta wake up. Right here, people are borrowing for the mortgages to consolidate their credit cards. That's all they're doing. Then they're going to re-rack the credit cards back up once they feel comfortable paying down the mortgage a couple of months. They feel they have it under control. And then Susie needs new skates or something. They're going to have to throw it on the credit card and, we'll just pay back the skates next time we get paid. They don't pay back the skates in full, and then they reuse it at the movie theater and reuse it. So that's why credit card debt here, or consumer credit card, consumer credits, is going down. People aren't buying cars anymore. People are trading in their new cars, right? So especially credit cards, and I see a lot of credit card companies also not lending out to people because they just don't qualify, because their total debt service ratio is severely out of whack. And if they were to raise interest rates, it would completely destroy families across the country. So that's what I'm seeing. That's the answer to this weirdness that's going on, this unusual divergence, people borrowing to pay down and consolidating credit card debt. And hopefully they destroy those credit cards and not get back into the swing of things. Most likely they don't. Anyways, thank you, Better Dwelling, for getting this article out there for us. Let me know what you guys think of my opinion on why I think this is happening and why this unusual divergence is taking place. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.